Hello, it's Wes Harrison with Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and I'm returning from Colorado on a skydiving training session. And today I want to make some videos about common asked questions on car repairs. And this video is about oxygen sensors. I get asked all the time, how come after I replace my oxygen sensor, I still have the light on and it says that the oxygen sensor is bad. Now here's what happened. Here's the scenario. Check engine light came on, somebody goes to the auto parts repair store, or the auto parts store, and they'll scan the car for free, and it comes up with a O2 sensor code, oxygen sensor O2, and the parts store will say, well, this is what you need, and they'll put in a new O2 sensor, and then the light will come back on, and they'll change it out a couple times, and they'll warranty it out because the light will keep coming back on. Most O2 sensors are replaced because something else is causing the O2 sensor to read wrong. And what causes O2 sensors to read wrong could be as simple as a vacuum leak or a restricted fuel filter. Sometimes it's a little more difficult. Now when I say vacuum leak, I'm talking about just a simple little hose vacuum leak. A rubber hose got rotted, real common on Fords. But it can also be worse. It could be like an intake manifold leak, or anywhere in the air monitoring system. There's air getting into the engine that's not being monitored, and so it causes the computer to say that the O2 sensors read wrong. Turn on the check engine light because the O2 is not within acceptable parameters, and it'll say, well, the O2 is reading wrong. The parts store then says, well, it's got an O2 code, you need a brand new O2 sensor. They didn't chase down the cause and effect. So on your O2 sensor, which stands for oxygen sensor, it measures the amount of oxygen in the gas, and it wants to make sure that the engine is running as efficiently as possible, also called stoichiometric. Stoichiometric, the ideal stoichiometric ratio is 14.7 to 1. Now, what does that mean? Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's just that's where the engines run the most efficient with the least amount of emissions possible. And as long as the O2 sensor is reading everything right, check engine light stays off. But if unmetered air is getting into the engine, the computer, it'll change the O2 sensor. It'll make it read too lean and not switching and calibrating enough. And on the other end of the cycle, a restricted air filter can cause it to read too rich. So always check all the other basics before you go changing an O2 sensor out. If you have any questions about O2 sensors, feel free to give us a call. Above and Beyond Auto Repair, 816-453-8282, and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you may have. You can find us online at aboveandbeyondautorepair.com, and I hope this little tip about oxygen sensors saves you a ton of money at the parts store. Always check everything else first before you go replacing an O2 sensor. Very, very rarely is it actually the O2 sensor itself. It's usually something else. Now, that's not to say O2 sensors don't go bad, because they do, but it's just not near as common as what you would think. So, again, this is Wes, Above and Beyond Auto Repair, and I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.